What is going on, members of the Shy Guy Squad? My name is Dan, otherwise known as Danekii, and welcome to the National Pokeball League Minors Division Season 4. We are back from the graves of barely making playoffs last season against the Verd, where he completely tossed our ass with circuitry. But we're back, we have a new draft. We're here to openly discuss a little bit about what I drafted, why I drafted it, and then we'll go from there. But if you guys are hyped for the fourth season of the NPL Minors, or our second season within the NPL, be sure to leave a like down below and also comment down below what you think of the team as we progress into this. And if you are hyped for the NPL Minors and you aren't yet, be sure to click that subscribe button as well, as all your support is greatly appreciated. But with that being said, we can just dive on into our first pick, which as Jaden Yuki, most of you guys know me by by this time, I fusion summon.
I activate the spell card Polymerization.
I fuse together Zekrom and Kyurem in order to summon Gendora X, the Dragon of Destruction. You heard that right. I just made a ritual monster into a fusion monster, which as obviously Kyurem Black. I was the 9th pick, and that making it all the way back to me, or making it down to me, was a huge surprise to me. But it's a Pokemon I've been so excited to use for such a long time. That base 170 attack is nothing to laugh at, because that is terrifying. Every single stat on Kyurem is above 100 except for special defense and speed, which lies at 95 each. So clearly, Kyurem is a great choice scarf user and a formidable mixed attacker with base 120 special attack, as you guys can see on screen, and 170 attack. And it's not a frail Pokemon by any means either, as it has base 100 defense and 90 speed, my bad, and 125 HP. So even some super effective hits Kyurem can take fairly well. And not to add up on its coverage, which consists of moves like Ancient Power, it has Stab Blizzard, Draco Meteor, and these are special moves. It also gets access to Dragon Claw, Outrage, Facade, pretty standard stuff, as well as Fusion Bolt, of course, Zekrom's signature move, Outrage for some strong Dragon Stab, Iron Head to deal with those pesky fairies running around, as well as Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, and Stone Edge. So this Pokemon certainly has its coverage cut out for itself, and I'm really excited to see how I can utilize using this monster known as Gendora X in this season. But that is our first pick, and of course I want to build around Kyurem and see what I can do. And on my way back to me, I'm thinking something I want is a ground immunity, because they're always nice to pick up, and I want to build up a Dragon Fairy Steel Core. So my second pick is Celesteela, the ancient.
I sacrifice my 2 ancient gears to summon my ancient gear golem!
Crowler was happy enough to give to me during this season. Of course, I'll give it back to him after Minors is done, but I appreciate it, Teach. But yeah, I pick up Celesteela. I've used this thing a couple times now. I'm starting to get to know this Pokemon a little bit better. It's a very, very versatile Pokemon in terms of stats, as you guys can see on screen right now. 97 HP, 101 attack, 103 defense, 107 special attack, and 101 speed F with 61 speed. This Pokemon is so versatile in terms of stats, with the ability Beast Boost, that I can make this thing bulky, offensive, physically offensive, especially defensive. Like, my opponent never really knows what this thing wants to do until they've either A, calced out after figuring out like 1 damage, like 1 hit, or if they have or they see what the Beast Boost gives my Celesteela, or you know, they can figure it out by move pool and stuff. But you know, it's pretty hard to guess out like that. So that's why I like Celesteela so much. So versatile with Beast Boost. It's just great. And then in terms of coverage, when it gets Flying Stab, which you know, not all Flying Stabs gets. I'm looking at you, genies. A Totemize, which I can run to boost my speed, and that still makes this thing incredibly heavy. So Heavy Slam plus a Totemize, as much as counteractive as it looks like, it's not too bad. Earthquake, of course, to deal with those pesky heat trains and those fire types and stuff if you run a Totemize. Can run Explosion, which is a really hard hitting hit from Celesteela. Gets Fire Blast and Flamethrower, can deal with Scizor and stuff. Flash Cannon also for special stab if you don't want to run the physical variant. Giga Drain. This thing gets a surprising array of grass moves, which is fair enough because it's based off of the Bamboo Cutter or something like that if I recall correctly. But yeah, this is my Celesteela, my Ancient Gear Golem, and of course, as you guys can read on the card, every time this monster knocks out an opposing monster, it will gain 500 in a chosen stat by the player. So, kind of implemented Beast Boost into an ability, so that was kind of cool. Now, that was my round 2 pick, and for round 3 I decided to get, I wanted to get Mega Diancie, but that got picked up from my good friend Uzi, who was overall 3rd pick, so that was probably the only snipe that happened to me in the entire draft, but I'm honestly okay with it because I think my draft overall ended up really nice. So for round 3, I decided to pick up the Elemental Hero Burstinatrix, otherwise known as Nidoqueen, because, you know, only main female of the draft that I picked up. So why did I pick up Nidoqueen? Well, the thing about Nidoqueen is it gets access to hazards like Stealth Rock and Toxic Spikes, it gets access to Sheer Force with an array of moves that support that ability, including its stabs of Earth Power and Sludge Wave, and I also get stuff like, let's see, get Crunch on physical, and if I want to do that, I have access to Dragon Pulse, I get Dragon Stab, not boosted by Sheer Force, but still, Fire Blast and Flamethrower, which is mainly why I decided to go Burstinatrix as well, like it has fire wielding abilities. Focus Blast is also boosted by Sheer Force, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Poison Jab, of course if I want to go the physical route. It's a Pursuit Trapper actually, that I didn't know about, so that's kind of cool. Rock Slide gets access to, Stone Edge, Sucker Punch, that's actually something I knew, Sucker Punch is really cool. Superpower I can get a Nidoqueen, Surf is also pretty cool, Thunderbolt as well. So there's a lot of things that Nidoqueen can do, like it can be very good both offensive and defensive support Pokemon, which is something I feel I've been able to draft so far with Celesteela, Nidoqueen, and even Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black can be a defensive Pokemon as well, as mentioned earlier with its stats, so I'm really looking forward to the first 3 picks that I got here. Now, my next pick is a pick I'm very familiar with at this point. I've used this Pokemon so many times, and if you are a long-time subscriber, you should probably know who I'm talking about. I'm of course talking about the Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, otherwise known as Greninja. Of course, since this is a Draft League format, Protein and Bottle Bond is of course banned, which is understandable, so I am here with my Torrent Greninja for, I think this is the 4th or 5th time I've drafted it, which is insane, but I still love Greninja. It's such a great Pokemon. One of the best Spike Stackers in the game, getting access to Spike and Toxic Spike, has that great speed stat of 122, got a really versatile move pool like X and Y, just through like, hey, this Pokemon, this starter, this is clearly the best one, best move pool, best coverage, take it. And I will gladly bow in acceptance and add this thing to my roster because Greninja is just so versatile. Like, it's really hard to know what 4 moves that Greninjas are going to use because it has so much good coverage to the point where it's like, what 4 moves are you actually going to run this week? Like, let me just take a rundown for you guys. Let me catch a breather first. I gotta remember to breathe more when I talk, silly me. But I get access to Acrobatics, Blizzard, Dark Pulse, Extra Sensory, Grass Knot, Gunk Shot, Hidden Power of my choice, Hydro Pump for stab, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Low Kick, Night Slash, Power Up Punch, even Quick Attack for priority, Rock Slide, Scald, Shadow Sneak for priority, like I mentioned earlier, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, U-Turn, Waterfall. Like, I can do so many things with Greninja that I'm looking forward to, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I feel like Greninja is going to be one of my MVPs this season, but we'll have to see. But that has been my first 4 picks, being Kyurem Black, Celesteela, Nidoqueen, and Greninja. Now, I built up a Dragon Steel and Battered Water, but I don't have a Fairy yet, and you know how important Fairies are, especially this generation. So my next pick was my Elemental Hero Necro Shade, otherwise known as Mimikyu, so that is kinda cool. Now this Pokemon is protected by, of course, its Disguise ability as read by its card effect, and Mimikyu is a really solid Pokemon. It's a very scary late game Pokemon because of its Disguise ability. If that can be kept intact, it can be a huge threat. So as we can see here in its move pool, or we can go over its stats first. You see, it doesn't have a lot of HP, but its bulk is pretty good. 105 speed def and 80 defense with 90 attack and 96 speed. That is just great. Like, Sword Stance free, has a really good speed tier, access to a lot of good moves like bulk up if I really want to work with that defense. I have access to Destiny Bond, as I can be a supportive trap set. I can have stuff like Leech Life, which got buffed this generation, which is really nice. Play Rough, of course, for stab. Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak is nice. I can get Wood Hammer, X-Scissor, and even Will-O-Wisp and Toxic, and Thunder Wave. It actually gets access to all three of them. It's a Taunter, which is really nice. So I'm really looking forward to using Mimikyu. I've used it once before, but I feel like I used it really poorly because I didn't really know how to use it, but I feel like I've learned a little bit better now, and Necroshade is going to help me a lot, even from outside the graveyard, as a lot of people are used to using it from to summon Elemental Hero Neos. Sadly, I can't use Mewtwo in this league, so Neos will have to sit on the bench for a bit. But with that being said, we can quickly transition over to some of our other manga cards, being the Elemental Hero Woodsman, which when hit by a dark type gets 500 points in attack, which of course is its justified ability. Now Virizion is the specially defensive version of the Sacred Swords, having base 129 special defense and 91 health, with 90 in each attack, 72 in defense, and 108 speed, which is the reverse of Cobalion. Now, the nice thing about Virizion is it adds a grass type to my team, and it also adds a fighting type with mixed coverage, which is something a lot of my team is capable of, and I'm really happy about that. Like, I can run Calm Mind, I can run Focus Blast, I can run Energy Ball, I can run Leaf Blade. So I can run Quick Attack, I can run Sacred Sword, I can run Seed Bomb, I can do Sword Stance, I can do Calm Mind. There's so many things. Like, Virizion is so versatile on those ends, and it's also surprisingly bulky, as seen with the 129 speed def, that I'm really looking forward to use this. Now, the reason why I'm looking forward to use Virizion is because I don't really have a lot of experience using any of the Sacred Swords, so it's going to be a new experience to me, as well as the fact that that speed tier is really nice. I feel like I've also done a great job drafting good speed, so I'm pretty excited for that. Now, what makes Virizion stand out? Well, it's also a point draft. I forgot to mention that, actually. That's silly of me. But this is a point draft, meaning that, like, after a while I start to run low on points I was going to spend. At this point I had spent quite a bit of points, because Cure Black was like 19 points, Celesteela was like 16 points, and by the time I came down to where I am right now, I'd spent like a good chunk of points. Let me add that up for you guys. So so with the purchase of minus that. With the purchase of Virizion, I had spent 83 out of my 120 points, meaning that I had 37 points left to spend working on with my next couple of picks, and I already knew I was going to spend a good chunk on my Mega, because I figured that out a long time ago that I wanted to spend 14 points on my Mega. So with that, for my next 3 picks, I only had about, let's make an average here, that meant I had like 23 points to spend on another 3 Pokemon, which is obviously very doable. And I ended up going with the fact that I needed a hazard remover. And the hazard remover I chose that was within my price range, well, the first one at least, was Gligar.
Now by fusing Elemental Heroes Avian and Wildheart, I can call forth Evil Hero Wild Cyclone!
My Evil Hero Wild Cyclone, picking up a bit of the Supreme King deck as well. This Pokemon is of course only achievable through Dark Fusion of Avian and Wildheart. Now, the reason why I chose to get Gligar, like I mentioned earlier, was a defog. It also adds a second ground type to my team, making me a little bit less susceptible to electric types, as Celesteela is pretty weak to that. Greninja is pretty weak to that. Even though I do have 2 resistances and 1 immunity, it's always nice to pack an extra one. Also, having a ground immunity alongside Celesteela is nice, and having 1,000 arrows switch in. Like, a physically defensive Gligar can switch into 1,000 arrows pretty well, which is nice. So, now the reason why I got Gligar on top of that is it sets up Stealth Rocks. It puts off a bit of pressure off of my Nidoqueen because that was my only other rock setter. And I'm going to patch up this problem even more with my next pick, which I'm pretty excited about as well. And there isn't much to say about Gligar. It's a cool looking Pokemon. It's a cool Pokemon in general. I'm probably gonna pack Eviolite most of the time on it, but it's a dope Pokemon, and I feel like I'm gonna have some usage for it. But with that being said, we're gonna pop on over to our round 8 pick, which was.
Why don't you take this? Something just tells me that it belongs with you.
Huh? Wow, for real?
Good luck.
Hey, wait! Thank you! I'll make you proud!
Winged Karibo, otherwise known as the Self, my one and only spirit partner. Nice and offensive as Elf, 115 speed, which is a nice speed tier, of course, to pick up. Getting access to Stealth Rock as well, being a very nice, helpful member to the team. And, you know, it's got such a huge move pool. Knockoff, which is something I actually was lacking that I picked up with my last 2 picks. Gligar, knockoff user, and Azelf, knockoff user. Now the thing about Azelf is that it has such a huge move pool as well, and that is something I really like. I like diverse Pokemon that can do a lot and not be like very similar every week. Like, I guess Mimikyu is kind of like a good example of that. It's probably going to do the same thing a lot, and it has like 2 roles it can probably fulfill, and other than that, it's kind of like, hey, this is what I can do. Unless you of course give it a Z crystal, but then it's like 3 things it can do, so it's like, meh. But Azelf is such a versatile mon. It can be really bulky, but it has a lot of different sets it can do offensively, and those type Pokemon I want. So I got Azelf. It's a levitating Psychic type. Of course, getting a Psychic type is also really good for my team. Now I have a Ghost Dark Psychic, and I have the Fighting Dark Ghost. I think it is Fighting Dark Psychic triangle. I think it is. But yeah, Azelf can Calm Mind, can be can't SD, but it can Power Up Punch. It's a fast taunter, gets access to Stealth Rock, Trick, so it can do that. It's a T-Wave user. It's a really nice versatile mon. Like I mentioned, those are the mons that I want. But with that being said, our next pick is of course going to be very cheap, but I decided to opt to get a Rapid Spinner for 5 points, meaning that I have 14 left. And some teams had access to 11 Pokemon, but my team only has 10. So for round 9, I picked up Elemental Hero Neos Alias, because Hitmonchan wants to be so much more than it is, and that's why I decided to go with Alias. So Hitmonchan, main reason I picked it up was Rapid Spin. Just gonna put that out there right now. And I know a lot of people give Hitmonchan crap, but base 105 physical attack with Iron Fist isn't that bad. Like, he gets access to the elemental punches, Drain Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch. Like, he gets access to Mach Punch, Power Up Punch, like Thunder Punch. Like I mentioned, the elemental punches. Just want to look for myself. Now, Hitmonchan, I feel like he can do like a thing here or there in between, and I feel like I might have a use for it somewhere. It might be a free agent that I'll work on and look through. Maybe I can pick something up, but I'm pretty happy with picking up Hitmonchan. I know a lot of people give it crap, but I feel like Neos Alias can be useful in certain matchups, and that's why I decided to pick it up. Really, it's a cool looking Pokemon that I've been wanting to use. Like, it looks like a fun Pokemon to use, maybe once or twice. I don't know how much I'll bring it, but I'll definitely bring it a couple times. But of course, that leaves me with my final pick. And, of course, as one thing you haven't noticed on my team, I don't really have an electric type, and a lot of people want electric types for their draft. Some might be fast, some might be bulkier, like, say, Zapdos or Tapu Koko, for that matter, or like a in-between there, like Raikou, or some people prefer Jolteon. Now, what I got was a Mega Pokemon, and, you could say, is it Mega Ampharos? No, I have a dragon, why would I do that? The Mega I got was Mega Manectric. I got my Elemental Hero Plasma Weissman. I fused together Manectric with the Manectite in order to summon Plasma Weissman, or as it is in the show, Sparkman and Blade Edge. So, Manectric. What can Manectric do? As an electric type, it has one weakness to ground. As a Mega Pokemon, its ability is Intimidate. Its speed tier is 135 base speed, which is really good. Same for its special attack, which means in a lot of cases it outspeeds a good chunk of Scarfers, like at least lower speed, like 70 and below Scarfers. It also can be modest a lot of the time because of its speed tier. Like if there's no particular Scarfer I need to focus on, there are, of course, I can focus on, well, outspeeding like the closest to it, which means I can run modest on base 120, I believe 119 for sure, but 120 is like a bit up and down on what I can run modest on. And its move pool coverage lies in Electric Stab. I can run HP Ice, Signal Beam, Shadow Ball, Volt Switch. Well, Volt Switch is Electric Stab. But yeah, like Flamethrower, Hidden Power Ice, Signal Beam, Discharge / Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. It can also run Toxic, Substitute, because Mega Manectric does force some switches. And it's a Pokemon I'm really looking forward to use. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun being able to use Mega Manectric. It's a very, I guess this is one of those more lackluster mons, but I'm really looking forward to test it out and see how it works. And that is my full roster from Kyurem Black to Mega Manectric, with in between being Celesteela, Nidoqueen, Greninja, Mimikyu, Virizion, Gligar, Azelf, and Hitmonchan. That is my full team. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. And as we transition from that, just want to mention that Kyurem Black is going to be my Z Captain, or the Pokemon being able to hold, or the card being able to use the equip spell Z Crystals. As you guys can see, I kind of made that card a little bit from like pendant, but it was really cool, and I felt like it would be a dope idea to add in. So hope you guys enjoyed that. But that is my full roster. Also, if you want to, and you watched this far, if you want to, you can send me fan art of this team or anything. Like if you want to draw something or make something of it, you can tweet it at me. My Twitter is in the description down below. But with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this here draft analysis, and I hope you guys are hyped for the second season for us in the NPL Minors. This is season 4, and there's only one thing we're here to do. We're here to win, and we're here to be absolutely flawless. Absolutely flawless. And with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Before I wrap up, I just want to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters that you see on screen right now, helping me with my goals and also with future problems. With that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.